Okay, stocks have been open for 4 minutes. We're back to normal trading. If you're just started trading, you never traded before, I'd say start on the Eurodollar. And all you have to do is make this a 1-hour chart and this a 15-minute chart, and you've got two different signals. So you don't have to change currencies. You don't have to go anywhere else. You can build the scalp trade plan, which involves tighter stops. And you run that on the 5-minute, on the 15 or the 5, and you can see all the setups occurring here, and then you can see what's all the zones of resistance. You don't have to. This is a monogamous trading system. Why go anywhere else, right? Develop a scalp plan, develop a swing plan. So swing when you're supposed to swing, and scalp when you're supposed to scalp, and the whole thing's right here in front of you. Very easy. No need to go trade the Australian dollar. What is the British pound doing? I don't give a fuck. Because I own a business that has a very low shipping cost. It's called Amazon, right? How does Amazon make all that fucking money? They just did the warehousing thing perfectly, right? They got the warehouse all queued up. So why do people want to work so hard? Because in your day job, you work so hard to make money. You know, you work so hard. Here you just got one thing to worry about. One psycho babe to babysit. You're babysitting, right? You want to babysit a fucking nut job? Well, you've got to learn how to babysit a nut job when it comes to forex. Here too, look at how easy and clean these trendline breaks are. There's no doubt what's going on here, right? Gee, I wonder if that's the beginning of a downtrend. Gee, I wonder if this is a triple top on time. Could it drop further? Would you put in buy limits? Do you have enough money in the account? That's all you'd have to worry about. Look at, I buy down here, of course. Who's not buying down here, right? Let them stop me out, right? Let them stop me out of whatever I'm in, and let me get filled on limits. You're going to need math skills, though, because you got to figure, well, if I'm going to buy at 119 tonight on the euro, plus, look at this. One tick chart, right? If I want to search by price, look at, take profits. If I wanted to move one of these, I'm like, you know what? It's coming back. Move it, right? Easy to manage, right? It's a piece of cake. At every moment, you know what to do. So you're going to buy down here, right? Yeah, put orders in. Impossible to trade two currencies at once like this and get just really great, you know. So you're putting buy stops in now. Big psycho sell-off when the stock's open. We're going to retest the lows. We might even take out the lows from yesterday here. This is a fantastic opportunity to buy when the market's screaming down like this. You want to trade the 1-minute chart? Be my guest. But don't go to trade the 1-minute chart on the fucking Australian dollar, man. Jesus Christ. What are you, nuts? Look at buy stop, buy stop, buy stop, buy at the market, right? Scalp, scalp, scalp. How is this not yelling buy me? Come on, buy me, damn it. Buy. I do what the market tells me. Buy stops. It's too fast of a move down. Buy stop mode. So I just keep changing modalities and adapting the market conditions. When the market's quiet, it's time to put in that bracket order that I don't know where the fuck the market's going. But here, who's not buying this? Stock market's been open for 8 minutes? Fuck, man. Jesus, this is just money fall. It's the money tree, right? Now, if I go and look at the yen right now, my whole head's going to come unwrapped. Like I said, this is like you got the hottest woman in the world, and you're looking out of the corner of your eye at some other that you think's hotter woman. But do you have are you able to manage one thing if you're day trading? This has got to be most obvious market in the world, the euro dollar. People, I don't trade the euro dollar. And yeah, I know you can make, I know I saw the 300 pips swing on the euro dollar. I mean, on the dollar yen. But do you have a game plan for making a standard lot entry in a 13 pip window? So you have a Fibonacci window and you're going to make $200? Boom. I can't get rich quick. Can't do that. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work real hard. That's another thing. So all the stuff I learned from the RSI guy wasn't really about RSI. It was about, he'd say stuff like, why do people want to work so hard? Because it's the European work ethic. If you don't work hard, man, you'll never make any money. And so, but it's so easy to just watch one thing. So in the beginning, I wanted to see every currency because I thought it was fear of missing out. Oh boy, I bet there's a better piece of ass down the street. Not really. I guess if you can find somebody who can tolerate your strange habits, then I guess people kind of, that's what you see people with people, because they're like, Jesus Christ, you're so out of your, I mean, you're trying to find somebody that's not out of their mind as you, I suppose. And so you're looking for some kind of safety and security. Certainly, I guess for a woman, it's about, you know, going to set up shop and make copies of, you know, make babies. But, you know, the trading thing is just, it's just, there's so much to look at. The stock market, a lot of the stuff I do in these videos is because people would just say, hey, what do you think about New Zealand dollars? So then I bring it up. But for me, it's not helping me make, I can't make money like that. I can't, this is so much more predictable. The 1 minute chart, of course, I have in context the 4 hour chart, so I never lose context. I don't have to switch back and forth. I don't have to go run do this, run do that. I can arbitrage this currency across 10 brokers. It's the morning. This is the big auction sell-off. In all the little, this is 5 pip grid on the right side. I mean, the spread's tight as a you know what. So why go to another currency? Well, I heard the Swiss National Bank's gonna hire hookers for the lobby. Oh, that should improve business. Yeah, that should really bump up the. That's really gonna do it. Yeah, that'll. Okay, I'm in the trade. And as you blow up your account and blow up your life, you say, well, you know, fundamentally, I know those fundamentals that's some tough sledding, the fundamentals, you know. So I was just listening to the Mark Douglas tapes last night, and better than Ron L. Hubbard. And so he says in there, it just didn't really occur to me. I heard him say it. There's so many little one-liners he has that seem to really fit. And the story about the guy that he traded for an hour a day and made $175,000 a day because he just traded for a 1 hour day because he knew his trade was, if you're a spike trader, which I'm a spike. I like to trade the spike. I like to get the lowest low. So as the market's dropping, I'm throwing in buy stops above. So as soon as it reverses the order flow, it starts to take in 2 pips away from current price. It starts to engulf into buy stops, and it's sweeping out. It's scalping along the way. It's cashing out as the market proves me right that it is retracing. So how much are you buying at the market and how much are you buying on limits and stops? So if you're bracketing the market as it's dropping, you're front running it with a 15-minute buy limit, and you have a 15-minute buy stop on top as it drops. Now here, it's like, well, you know what? This is the 1 minute chart, mind you. So you're like, you know, yeah, okay, I'll buy a couple more because you can see it's about to break here. And here's your trend line to break is going to be right here, right? But you know what? This is the channel. I should be selling there. Look at channels in force, right? Very easy to do analysis. Euro dollar is very liquid. You can see the big picture over here of the failure into the doji. So I pointed this out last night in the broadcast version. Crude, bad graphics. Streaming is like, ugh, you know, I just never did it before, and it's very It's kind of like the people who records movies on their cell phone, and it's iffy audio and iffy everything. So we knew this doji existed. We knew there'd be a bunch of activity here. And look at the wick hunt for any robots or algorithms that had stops up here. This is where you'd want to get short. So you have about a 12 pip window here of controversy. Keep on, and the range traders keep feeding off of these two levels. You have the previous known, written in stone, a buy spot. They keep overshooting that, but it's actually more like the last known high. The last known high is this one. This is the only one that matters. Then this one. Now look at them shear that off. So now this was fair value and now we just went unfair. So the longer it goes sideways is the congestion. You establish a fair value zone, then you plunge into unfair value. You shear off all of these the stops that are stacking up here. If you can just imagine, okay, right here, spam, right? Then another shearing. So this is all the fur on the, this is the sheep trade. You're going to need a Montana stick. Okay. And you're going to buy at the market right now. Buy at the market, right? Buy at the market because we just broke that trend line channel. We could make 5 pips. Now, the thing is, I set this to make 8 pips. Now, I could set this to make 3 pips and just hit the button twice as hard. Boom, 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 boom. You know, I could put out 12K here. I was like, all right, let's see. I just bought 10K. So, come on. So let's see what happens. There's more news coming out. I'm sure top of the hour. There's going to be crude oil, 11:30. So all we have to do is make it back to here, and we'll made money today. If we can make it back to this one rung, we're in this trap. That's the 1 minute, and you know, you're really using the 1 minute as your trigger puller. But you know where the market's at. Now, the market could still keep on tanking and take out the low yesterday. So here was the island entry when you buy that very last tick, and then ride it all the way in total engulf of the previous day. So we got one engulf right here, right as soon as it took out the high of the day. So it took out the low of the previous day, and this is typical auction stuff. It takes out the low, then it comes back, and then it traps people on this side, and then it comes down, traps people on the other side, and it's all nothing like tag you're it, or kick like tag you're it, right? You're it now. So here I put buy stops as it's dropping. If this is a retest, or are we going to keep tanking? So this, you'd say, well, this trend line's holding up. This channel's still force. So you want to buy in the middle of that channel. Do you buy at the market? So I just bought 10K, or do you buy on stops? Let's do both. So stops are 2 pips away. So it has to come gushing back up for us to make money, and if it comes flying back up. Otherwise, it's just going to hunt down the low yesterday, and people are going to be, I can't fucking believe it took out the low yesterday. And they can't believe they put a fucking goober stop in there. I got to stop down here, man. Okay, great. What if they just keep slicing this thing down? You know, I mean, anybody ever amazed at the amount of the market could just keep going? And another thing with just trading one currency is I don't need to think, well, I wonder what, in other words, if I go to the other instrument right now. No, I'm playing guitar. I'm a guitarist. And I'm waiting for a gig, Now, if you're a gig, or I'm waiting for a style. The 1 minute chart has all of these styles. So what if you're making just 3 pips? If you're risking 30 cents to make 70 cents, and that's every time you typed on Twitter. So every character you type on Twitter, you're making that ratio. Don't they pay? I mean, they pay by the character, I think, right? If you're going to do one of these, if you're going to write code for somebody, they pay by the characteristics. That wouldn't work out, right? But I know that in school they would say you have to write 500 words you have to describe. And I thought, oh, geez. How about 500 pages and just put one letter on each page? So as this is dropping, I keep putting in the buy stops. Right, about to make new lows. Now we could, because it's Wednesday, we could blow out the low of yesterday. Don't forget. So anything could happen. We put all the appropriate orders in for that situation. So right now it's going to be buy stops. It's a swing low to the channel. Our target is, this is a scalp trade. The target's going to be to here. And maybe it does, make it back to here. So I'm just counting the pips. Here's the top bottom failure. This top's supposed to become a bottom. It does, bounces off in time, then rapes down in. So here's the scalp of the day, I'd say, for just making it back to 119.58. So 119.58 is where we're going to cash out. And maybe crude oil comes out and it can smash up to there. Otherwise, we're going to have to get stopped out and get back in at the lower price for a psycho bounce, and it may just drip down. So here we're going down new lows here. So the 1 minute chart, since we have a little peak there, I'm going to put more buy stops in. So if it keeps dropping, it won't get filled. And these scalp orientated, so the first take profit on here is like just a few pips. But it's just easier, you can see the psycho spike on the tick chart. I mean, it's just a piece of cake. And you can buy and sell. That's the only thing plus you can buy and sell, which makes it even more complicated, if you can imagine that. Just because it's dropping, if you miss that sell at the top, it's kind of hard to add down here to a sell for me. Like if you miss this big collapse here, it's so difficult to. Now this one you can leave, let the computer fix the scale. This one you can fix your own scale. So here you can see the context, and here is the momentum. Now here's the double bottom, your first chance to draw a trend line. They've trapped below, in closing prices, they've trapped below, but they haven't taken out the low of the day. So they can still do that. This could be the breakout that's not a fake out. It's the breakout that's not a fake out, but they're stretching it. They're just bidding it down so hard into this kind of attempting an engulf of yesterday from the bear's perspective. Now, we don't have to look at the weekly and the monthly and the. If you're a day trader, this is to me this is an obvious spike trade. I actually just love to trade a spike up or down. Now, when it's spiking up, it's just how you gauge how much margin you're going to use, how you're going to do it. And then are you going to ride it through the whole? So if this is a spike and then it kind of calms down and you end up with a hammer, which means if it's a bullish hammer to me is a wick, that's a tail that's below the structure, and then you just ride that top of that. You let 20% that you scalp 80%. You just made $380, and you let the another $200 drift. So you, in 20 pips, you made $200, and then you let 20K just drift. Something like that, right? Okay, just bought at the market on the 1 minute chart. this pullback here, and still looking for my target there. It's this maximum zoom in that MetaTrader allows. So I wouldn't, all that past price really doesn't matter for my day trading, the way I day trade it, because I'm really worried about this. If they start to stop me out and go all the way down here, what is the math on that? I would start buying deeper. So when does it go terribly wrong, and when do I? Now, if I put type stops in, the account's going to go flat, and there'll be no margin usage. And then all of a sudden, I'll pick up the margin usage again. I'll get back into, as it starts to go back up and fill the stops, just by default, it's going to fill me. So I buy stops here in case it keeps going up. Now, I'm waiting. So I just bought the market because the 1 minute pullback. I'm assuming this is the 1 minute attempt at an uptrend. Still under severe pressure here. The top of the hour is coming, so they're going to close the books on this. Now, this could still keep going down lower. There's another stop right here. I'm sure that there's a person or a robot has a stop right here. And you could keep tanking all the way into this window, get stopped out, or are people going to, is it going to be short squeeze because the top of the hour is coming and this is such a fake out move because it's too fast, right? It's too fast. Same thing, you're on a date and the girl says, let's go get married. Oh boy. Yeah, let's go to Vegas and get married. Wow, man, where did I find you? It's like living inside of a movie. So our scalp is to here, and then after that, it could start plunging again. So it's back and forth. I mean, look at the plunge backfill here. You had to wait 4 hours for this thing to get back into this hole. Start crushing through all of these. Like, this was the first place I would put in like a bank. We have scalps, scalp clusters inside there. So that would be, if you had to manually place those orders, I think then you would say this really is work. If you had to right mouse click and go buy a limit, place stop, place take profit, yeah, you'd have a problem. You definitely want to kill yourself. You'd want to go back to your day job, I suppose. At least you can joke around the coffee, around the water cooler, right? Okay, now this has to drift up here. Otherwise, what has to happen for you to make money? This is the do or die moment. Plus, you have a top bottom on the 1 minute. Very tight spread. This is the doji. You have to clear this and close above this thing. Now stabilize here. You got 1 minute left. We could still shear this out. We could blow out this trend line at any moment. And then here's where you'd say, well, let's put in some buy limits down here just in case, Let them stop me out. I'm presupposing you chose very tight stops, right? Now, as it plunges, I'm going to put buy stops on top to catch if it comes flying back. All right, so here's the buy stops, 2 pips above. They're taking out new lows. Here comes 30 seconds. I expect another spike. So if it spikes down and retraces, we're going to get in on the now they're going after the low of yesterday. All right, so we knew that. It's Wednesday, so they could take out the lows from yesterday. We have buy limits down there. We have limits in front of the market. Okay. And we don't have to buy at the market here. Hopefully I put the limits in the right spot. Now, if I don't have enough margin, I'm buying at the market right now. You could still take out the low yesterday. Okay. If we come rifling back, it should fill the stops like a zipper, and those would scalp out. Okay, I don't know what the news... Okay, now it's 10 o'clock. I don't know what the news is. It's been 1 minute the news has been out. I don't know if it's news. It's just the top of the hour. Because it's 11 o'clock in Japan. Okay, so now we're waiting for another attempt to retrace. This is 2 hours clean down. Another big fake out move. If the market's going up, this is just a big... it's really how tight is our stop. Okay, now they could go down lower. Now here's where our tight stops would get taken out again. But like I say, I'm going to buy all the way to 119 on this. So if we do a psycho plunge, all my buy limits start at yesterday's new prices, and my buy stops I'm going to run above as we plunge for the scalp. So the trick is to get the right amount of margin going here. You'll free up margin as soon as you become a winner on the scalps. Okay, so a bunch of scalps, a bunch of buy stops here. So we're 10,280. We got limits below. We've got scalps below for 8 hours. Here we'll put some more buy limits down here. This is what my broker shut me down when I started to throw too many orders in like that. Only because I didn't want to babysit the market. Right, I wanted the trade, but I didn't want to have to make sure that I was, when the price got there, have a price alarm email, and then you have to jump on your platform and start pulling the trigger. I thought, well, I'll probably buy the new lows if it rockets down there. Okay. So I'm sure the dollar yen's probably going through the roof. I'm sure the stock market. Now, you could look at that stuff, but I don't know. As long as it doesn't change your decision, like a bat wing or something. And the worst thing that you can do is backtest something and it works. I think it's so funny. Why backtest it? Make sure it works. And then you break it out of the box and it's like, huh. Didn't work out too good. Well, what you got to do here is you got to tighten your stops up or shit. What's going on here? See, now, you want to be a big rooster, right? So you want to trade real big. Now, what you got to do here is you got to tighten up the stops. Got too wide a spread of orders. What you done did here, son, is you overexcited about buying this plunge. Now, it's happened to the best and it's happened to the rest, so don't feel bad about it. Shit happens. Son, why do you think I have a shit happens stickers on my rusty 4-wheel drive? There's a reason for that. It's 5 minutes after the top of the hour. Put some more buy stops up here. Trailing buy stops to go the other way. As we plunge, I think we are going to hunt down the low of yesterday. It looks like we're going to crush below it. So as we approach that price, I'm going to be putting the buy stops in above, and hopefully I put my limits in. I want to start just at yesterday's low and just put a whole pile in. Okay, so I'm in $128 a margin. I'm gonna just round this down to $250. We have $240 left. If I have a $10,000 deposit, imagine I'm up 247, 248. So I have money to burn, as they say. I can put some skin in the game here. I can put some buy stops. Now, as it plunges, they're very close to taking out the low of yesterday. So we're going to put all our buy limits down here. But what if they don't take out the high yesterday? What if this is just a big bid down for a retest right around those prices? Then I put buy stops on top and catch it as it comes. See, they just took out the low yesterday. Now, this is a classic Wednesday thing. New low Wednesday. Almost every currency will experience this. This is the Wild Wednesday effect. And it's just, I think it's just a swing. If this is going to go up, this would be the stop hunt, but maybe this is going to be the beginning of the whole next 3 days down. Are people getting short here because you just took out yesterday's low? Okay, I'm at 225 using $200 in margin. I'm at 220. Now we're just going to scalp this because we're scalpers. We're scalpers because the market's moving so brutally fast. It's time to scalp. You know, it's time to take advantage of this raid. So look at the classic. Look at the classic price behavior. Do we have to go trade the Australian dollar? No, we're in this thing really big now. Now I'm going to buy at the market because I've got 15-minute stacks of buy stops pending as it comes back up. So you can put this whole platform in a zip file, but it doesn't mean that you can make money trading like this, right? Because you'd have to really get the perfect amount of margin going. The Goldilocks thing is your strategy meets your margin level, how much money's in the account, and that's it. No need to go look at these. Like if you, people that are trading and they want to just make money, right? So if you're going to make babies, you're going to just marry some chick, because how can you marry 5 hookers and make babies? How could you even? You end up like B.B. King had like 10 wives. B.B. King did not know the names of his kids. So they gave him the guitarist break. Yeah, but he plays guitar so good. Who cares if he's got a harem of? Who cares if he's got like? And I mean, geez, right? But B.B. King would just take one note. He's a one-note wonder. Johnny One Note. Okay, here we go down lower. So I'm putting more buy stops in. Complete raid on the euro. Buy limit fills. Buy stops. As it plunges, buy stops for the scalp. Okay. I don't know if I over margined here. I'm only down 100 and okay, now we got to load up on the margin again. Reload up. So you just keep buying this plunge. Another severe raid. Now I still got the buy stop stacking up. Don't forget, we haven't even started to go up yet. This is where the 15 minutes come in handy, because that's about 15 bars down. These should start deleting the ones that are kind of chasers. You're kind of chasing it, but this is just a classic stop hunt Wednesday. I mean, stop hunt for the guy that put his stop on the daily, and he's like, well, fuck, come on. It's also the place for people to get short on that breakout, but their risk level is incredible. They should have a stop of like 30 pips on this trade. Like, what if they're wrong and it just is a fake move? Now more buy stops as it plunges. So I'm not in enough margin. So if $300 is my margin limit, now here's where we could start getting some fills coming back the other way. And here's where now the new target's down here. So with a tight stop, you don't have to worry about the you got stopped out. This is your new target here. Is the floor on the 1 hour close. So the 1 hour chart here. I know this is yesterday's low. And the other thing is, if you have a day job, you just had a big pile of orders sitting in here, right, waiting to get filled. Right? Now, if you have a day job, maybe you are doing the same trade on a bunch of currency pairs, but I'm talking about day trading. If I'm sitting here and I can see my buy limit bank here now, hopefully I've scalped out of something by the time we come back to the floor on the wick and then the floor on the close eventually. I think crude oil still has to come out at 10:30. We could still keep pounding down here. The stock market's probably making all-time highs right now, but it just doesn't matter to me because I'm only trading this thing, right? I'm just trading this one thing. Oops, broker didn't take that ticket. As this comes pounding down in, and unsustainable, right? Unsustainable. Look at him just keep punishing this currency. Now it's coming down into levels probably on another time frame, at a deeper, 4 hour. But look at the 1 minute chart. Not even a breath. It hasn't taken a breath. So as soon as it starts coming back up, this is when rubber's gonna meet the road. Okay, so I'm at 182 margin. I'm not gonna touch it anymore because I know I've got exposure. If it starts to come back, flying back up, it's going to start cashing out. So anyways, that's the trade. Now, I wouldn't touch it. Maybe a couple market orders here. But I've reached my maximum margin level is $200. That's how I would scalp it. Now, in 15 minutes... if this comes roaring back, now look at this walk down out of this here. You could have sold here and rode that down in, but at some point you'd have to be really thinking, well, is that a downtrend? And where is this price wise? This happened up here before it fell out of bed. So if you look at the 5 minute structure, you see how easy it is to see what's going on here. This thing happened here during this. See, here's your pennant is here, right? This is what the pennant was formed. Right there was a triangle. That's this guy here. So it's very easy to see in the landscape where the stuff showed up at. This whole drift down here. This corresponds to this whole thing here. And this is a flag. Now, if you have sell stops here with buy stops here, you cashed in all the way down if you ran a sell stop coming out of that. So you could have done that. You could have stacked a hedge. You could have built a hedge here with great, fantastic ratios, and you would have realized all that money coming back the other way. So more buy stops as it drops. 212. I'm getting filled on limits now. I can see because I see the margin go up. I know I'm putting in buy stops, and I see the margin usage going up. This is an incredible plunge. Incredible. Okay, now I'm at 208. I'm picking up limits now. Okay, now starting to make a little bit of money there. Okay, now we're going to wait. We still got a whole giant stack of buy limits now. Now we could buy at the market. Right, we're going to buy at the market because it's so fucking cheap. Look at this 5 minute chart on the left. Now, if you go to the 15, we don't have to lose track of what's going on the 1 minute. Look at this flag. It's just a little one breath is this thing here. So this corresponds to this. You know where you're at in the landscape in the story. Okay, now we have to get a retrace again, but it could keep plunging. This is the problem. It could keep plunging. Okay, now I've at my maximum margin, 234, and I got no limits below, so there's more exposure to more margin fill. Look at it dripping down. I think it's going to go down a little bit further. So I'm going to put more buy stops above with a pending buy limit below for 15 minutes. So the whole time, okay, buy at the market. We're anticipating a short squeeze into the crude oil report now. So even though it's dropped this far, we're going to add to the losers, right? And if we can get to, we can make back to $230. Okay, now we can't touch it. Now we're really going to take on some margin. Serious margin get taken on here. And this is where the rubber meets the road. We'll see at the math. We did the math right to scalp this. Try to make $200. So if we make it to 10,500, because we were about 230 before the plunge, and it would have been pretty tough to chase that sell. Okay, we just saw some tickets delete. So some of the buy stops just went away, and I see buy stops still hanging out up there. Now, if this just, it's autopilot now. Now I wouldn't touch it. We still have exposure to getting filled on buy stops as it comes back. Because look at all the buy stops I put in there. Now, maybe buy at the market if you don't think you're in enough margin. Here's where you might want to load up on some tight stops. And then you got your divergence too. If you're looking at the 1 minute chart, you see the failure to hold that trend line is starting to diverge away. So you don't need MACD, you don't need, and then here's the trend line to break. So I'm always thinking, well, how long is this trend going to go? How long is this trend going to be my friend? So we could be breaking right now. We start to engulf. Now we have a 20 pip target. We should be able to make some money if we get I don't know, crude oil is coming out. So we're counting on some kind of 10-minute retracement here. So it's been going down for, look at the 15-minute crush. And it just is staggering, right? 15-minute chart. So see, the doji is the flag. It's all the same thing. You put that, that's when it barely, dead cat bounce, then plunge city. Got crude oil inventories coming out in 8 minutes. And I think we all know 8's a Fibonacci number. So think about it. Think about it, people. I just bought more at the market, and I think so I'm really in heavy. $370 a margin, down $200. Now it has to retrace for me to make money. 15-minute chart, half-hour chart, not one bullish candle, 1 hour chart, 4 hour chart. Just took out the low of yesterday. Going after the low of back here, I'll buy all the way down into that. So I put limits starting here for a deep state move. No reach around. And now we're just looking to scalp into the 1 hour. Let's go for the 5-minute floor. In other words, that place where it fell out of bed right here, this is where we're going to get our first target. is this pause. And the next target would be here. Likely, right? And then maybe it'll smash down and retrace then. Okay, so we got to start scalping out of this. Otherwise, we're going to be in too much margin. The 15-minute orders that I've been dropping this whole time down have deleted themselves. So it's auto-managing the exposure as it comes back. So I have a snugger stop strategy. Now, you could delete these off the top. Now, here's where you'd have to intervene. If you think that you've put too much in, because you're only on one currency pair, all you have to do is say buy stop. Now come in here and find the worst stops that you consider to be they won't make too much money. Start trimming off the buy stops. I might not get a chance to, because it might just come roaring back. But the worst stop is the top stop. So right here, oh, I fucked it up. No wonder I couldn't find it. No wonder it was flashing. Okay, you got to arrange them by price. So what you're going to do is rifle through here to find the top. First, you got to find your balance. So this is the worst fill, the highest fill. Start plucking these off. This way, you don't overload margin-wise. So my margin's at 320. I should probably let it go. Now here's where we regulate it, because I want to be, if I'm making money and it comes either drifting back or gushing back up, if I know these are scalp orientated, I do want to make that money. So I'll let those go. Because otherwise, there's no more margin. And unless I pull the trigger and buy at the market, there's going to be no more margin adding. This would be the last chance to like autofill confirmation. Okay, they just deleted themselves. So perfect, right? They just deleted themselves, the 15-minute script. So you have no more. I went $100 over my margin usage. So I did break the margin barrier for a little bit. But the other thing you could do here is intervene on your take profits and say, you know what, this looks like a monster fake out move, so let me move up my take profits and let me convert my scalps to like more like a mini swing where I'm just going to make let's see, I'm going to make like 20 pips instead of just 10. So I'd grab this take profit and start scooching these up, right? If you don't want to, because I'm already cashing out. See, I'm losing. If this is a Wednesday swing low stop hunt, then I want to move my targets up to like 50 pips up, right? Because I'm like, oh boy, this is like, the beauty of getting in on limits is that you put yourself in the market because the trade plan puts you in the market. It wasn't something where you had to gauge, well, how far is it going to drop and keep buying at the market. You literally let the market fill you, the market prove you right. Now here, another pullback. So here you could buy at the market a little bit maybe, but hey, it could keep plunging. We're waiting for this crude oil report. Now, if we get a psycho retrace on the crude oil, then it's going to be like, wow. We'll scalp out and we'll have the swings built into it. Now we're already in. If our exit's going to be 30 pips above, maybe, we could probably get there in a couple hours if it does a drifting retrace. Otherwise, it's just going to keep melting down. Here we go down again. Another big sell-off coming into the crude oil report. So buy stops. So I went over my margin thing. I still have buy limits pending below in case we rifle down for some reason. We wouldn't care about the reason. It's just that we're always going to buy low and sell high. So here's the 1 minute. Wait for crude oil. We could smack down here again. So I'll put another basket of orders in. Down $200, using $300 of margin. I just got stopped out of something. I just saw the margin. No, we took profits on something. So I'm running trailing 15-minute buy stops again, in case this is the bottom. So we don't know. We kind of just never know if this is the bottom. So just in case, I'm stacking up buy stops. If this is the shoulder and that's the head down there, then as soon as news comes out, we would see a big backlash going up, or the spreads are just going to get wide and stop me out, and I'll have to get filled on deeper orders. So down here, we could come, right? We could spike down there. Anything can happen. So we could spike down here. Okay, we're waiting 10 seconds to news. Crude oil. This is the petrodollar trade, basically, right? Okay, let's scalp it if we can. I don't know what the news is, but it didn't seem to really destroy the spreads. And maybe the sell-off was anticipation of, but I think it's just, nobody's buying. There's nobody that wants to buy, and news is coming out, and it could affect the dollar, and the stock market's at record highs. It's approaching just a continuation into the ozone levels. So let's see what happens with this thing. Come back here, see if we blow up the